Um, okay, I actually just right before I came on here, as I was getting on here, I got a message. I got a WhatsApp that from the Pico de Oref. I don't know how to say that in English. Do you know how to say that in English?
I think it's
Remy?
Homeland Command or some sort of command center, the command center.
Yeah, the command center that we have to prepare ourselves for to go into the bunker for 3 days and bring with us batteries, flashlights, food, water, three gallons of water per person, um, and whatever other things we need, our animals or whatever other things we need to have in there, we should have that, and that wasn't made official till right this minute. A lot of us heard about this. We all knew that it was coming, but the idea that we're not going to have electricity and water, and we're going to be having to be in our bunkers and our mamadim, it's been sitting with me for a while already since I've known about this. And yesterday I went to the store and I bought tons and tons and tons of water and tons of perishables, non-perishables, and people were laughing at me like, "What are you doing? We're not going to get there." And very, very quickly, I went to the store today and there was absolutely no water. And in the gas stations and any of the supermarkets, there's no water to be had. There's no water to be found. The situation here um, is intense. There's a lot going on. Obviously, there's a lot in the news and what's going on with the hostages and what's going on with the soldiers and what's going on with the missiles that they're throwing at us. And at the same time, there's a tremendous amount going on that I've never seen before in my entire life. And I've been on this world for a while. I've never seen the amount of outreach and love and chesed and people coming up with ideas and opening up organizations on a whim and helping out and reaching out. I myself have gotten endless amounts of messages and phone calls just checking in on me and making sure I'm okay. Aside from the fact that all these people that are living in Israel are checking in on me, right? Everyone has a lot of fear going on and there's a lot of it's just a very intense experience to be here right now. And still, they're thinking about me and they're thinking about my kids. I've had people offer me to move into their house with my kids. Just a tremendous amount of love. Let's not even discuss the amount of food and the packages and what they're sending the soldiers. And it's just the achdus, the unity is incredible. And I just can't stop thinking about one thing that I want to share with you. We have to learn from our history. Us Jews, we are our walking history book, and so we have to learn from our history. And history, throughout history, it's always been very, very black and white. When we were at odds, we lost, and when we were together, we won. Regardless of whether we all kept the same halacha or if we kept halacha at all, whether we were religious or not religious, Shabbos observant, not Shabbos observant, did not matter. In the generation of Achav, who was a Russia, and he made all the Jews in Israel at the time worship idols. They all gladly worship their idols right next to their beds. They would go into their rooms and worship their idols and bow down to their idols and then get up and go out to war. Every single war that they had, they won. And you read the Navi and you're like, how is it possible that they won every single war when they were worshiping Avodah Zarah? They were worshiping one of the three cardinal sins is do not worship idols. Do not have any other God. The first commandment in the 10 commandments, do not have another God, al panai. I am the only God. I am God. And then and with every single war, whereas we have other generations and history in our history where they were so religious, where they had beards down to the floor, where they were so practicing and they were at odds with each other. This one didn't go to that one shul. This brother didn't talk to that brother. This sister didn't talk to her sister, her mom. There's the neighbors don't know each other. And they don't invite each other to each other's bar mitzvahs, simchas, the happenings, birthdays. There's just like all this separation, all these groups, all these groupings going on, and they lost every single war. But they ate badats and they eat glak kosher and they gave so much tzedakah and they wore long skirts and they went to pray in shuls. They didn't bow down to idols, and yet they lost every war. And if you look at what's going on right now in Israel, where on Shabbat morning, I was here where I am right now in my bed, and it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden we hear the siren. Out of just 1 second, I was sleeping, and the next second my kids were sleeping, and the next second we were all up on our feet in our bunker. and our window was not, I couldn't release the window. So the window was open, and we hear the missiles flying overhead. We hear them landing. We hear the boom under. It felt like an earthquake every time that it landed. And I'm holding my kids behind the bunk bed, so at least we have some kind of coverage. And we're just screaming, Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim. We're saying Tehillim together. And we have a tremendous, all of us, my legs were shaking. My legs were totally shaking. But at the same time, we were so together in terms of, we know God is doing this. We know God is with us. He's not doing this. He's with us. He's with us in this. He's with us in our pain. He's with us in our sorrow. And I just want to, it's something that I really want to make clear to a lot of people, because there's a lot of confusion around this. Like, why is Hashem doing this? Why is God doing this to the Jewish people? We just had Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. We just fasted. We just had Sukkot. We tried so hard. We did so many mitzvos. We did slichos. Why is he doing this to us? Why is this coming now? Maybe in the middle of the year when we're all sunken in our sins, God forbid. Okay, but right after Yom Kippur, like not even 10 days after Yom Kippur, how is this even possible? And this is something that the Tomer Devorah teaches, and this is something that I really, really want everyone to take home with them. When the Jewish people are at odds with each other, when we are not happy, when we are picking fights, but I'm right, just like with your kids are like, but he did hit me, and I am going to hit him back because he hit me first. And you're right, and you're right. Everybody's right. You're right because you hit him because he said the wrong thing to you. He's right because he was offended by what you said, so he hit him. You're all right, but that's not the point. The point is not to be right. The point is to be smart. The point is to be smart. Every single time we fight, every single time we find fault in the other, every single time we don't want to let our egos go because they deserve it. We were right and they hurt us, and we shouldn't bend down. Why should I bend my head? Why should I surrender? Every single time we do that, we take a drill and we drill it under our seats in the boat that we're all on. We're all on the same boat, and we think, I'm drilling the hole under my seat. It's my seat. It's my life. I could do what I want. I could say what I want. I could act the way I want. I could do it, but it's a drilling a hole underneath your seat, and we're all drowning. You too. We're all drowning in this together. And it gets to a point, the Tomer Devorah explains, where if there's enough sinna, if there's enough hatred, if there's enough not being inclusive of another person's thoughts, ideas, not understanding other people, even if they have other walks of life, not speaking to family members for years on end, not speaking to your own neighbor, not making a gesture to come to your neighbor with, I don't know what, gefilte fish or muffins or whatever it is, just for the sake of creating good vibes between people, if we don't realize that that's our power, that's our magic, that's what makes us, our unity makes us victorious in every area of our personal life and the national lives that we all live, then Tomer Devorah says that literally it's like when we are at odds, we fill up this cup with tuma, which is what the Yetzer Hara, which is what the Sitra Achra nurses off of. Just a little Kabbalah for a second. The Sitra Achra, which is the Samech Mem, which is the Satan, which is the Malach HaMavet, the angel of death, cannot touch us. There can be no death in our Machane. There can be no death amongst the Jewish people at all. Nobody could touch us. Nobody can touch us. So we see it throughout history, time and time again. Nobody can lay a finger on us. We cannot experience death amongst us. If we are together. Why? Because the Satan, the Yetzer Hara, doesn't get its power from anything. It can't. And when there's light, when there's unity, it melts. It can't touch us. But when there is anger and violence and lashon hara, which is a really, really, really big one, gossip, when there's that going on, it says in the Tomer Devorah, it says in Kabbalah that it literally nurses off of that energy. And when it nurses, we know what happens when someone nurses, when a baby nurses, it gets its energy and it gets its life force from its mother's milk. It nurses off of our fighting and our anger. That's what it nurses off of. And then it has power to go and wreak havoc amongst the Jewish people. Meaning the fact that there's death in high scores right now, and the numbers keep getting higher and higher and higher, and the news keep getting bleaker and bleaker and bleaker. And we have to now perhaps go into our bunkers at whatever point when our electricity and our water gets knocked out, God forbid. Anything can change. That's the thing. Anything can change. The Gezerah could turn around. But if that's the situation, it's only because there's so many holes in this boat. And the only way for us to get out of this mess and to bring the Geula and to get to the Beis HaMikdash is if we plug the holes. And you don't have to be here to plug the holes. If you're part of the Jewish people, you're on that boat. Whether you're in San Francisco or in Utah or in, I don't know, Alaska. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're a Jew, you have the ability to plug these holes in the boat, plug the holes in your life. Plug the holes in your home. Plug the holes in your relationships. Go out of your way to do chesed for another person, even if you feel stupid, even if you feel dumb, even if you feel like, why should I bend my head? Why should I bow my? It doesn't matter. We're in times right now. We are in times right now. Eis tzara l'Yaakov. The Jewish people are in a major, major, major tzara, and it's major. I have been feeling the ground shaking underneath me for the past 72 hours. Literally, our homes are shaking, our doors are swinging, there's bombings going on. If they're not shooting missiles at us, they're shooting missiles in neighborhoods next to us. So what I want to end off saying here is that you, by your tehillim, by your tefillah, by your outreach to other people, by sending food to the chayalim or coming to your synagogue or doing whatever kindness you can, that is plugging the holes in our boats. And when we plug the holes in our boat, we won't sink. We won't sink. And that's what we need. We need everybody to help us because the Jewish people in Israel are doing tremendous amount of chesed and goodness, and we need more. We need more manpower.
Thank you so much, Devorah,
you
for
so
sharing your words. I really appreciate your words, and thank you for being here.